After the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ, his closest followers, the 12 apostles, carried his message across the world. Each of their journeys was marked by courage, sacrifice, and faith. And though their paths were different, nearly all ended in suffering or martyrdom. Here is what tradition tells us happened to the apostles after Jesus' ascension. Peter, often called the leader of the apostles, traveled widely to preach the gospel. He spent years in Antioch and later in Rome, where he became the first bishop of the church there. Under the reign of Emperor Nero, Peter was arrested and sentenced to death. Tradition says he was crucified upside down because he felt unworthy to die in the same way as Jesus. His boldness and humility made him a central figure of the early church. Andrew, Peter's brother, took the message north into Greece and the surrounding regions. He too was eventually arrested for his faith. Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross, which became his lasting symbol. Even while suffering, he is said to have preached to those who watched, turning his death into one final testimony of devotion. James the Greater, the son of Zebedee and brother of John, became the first apostle to be martyred. In the book of Acts, it is recorded that he was executed by the sword under King Herod Agrippa in Jerusalem. James's death showed the church that even the apostles themselves would not be spared persecution, and his faith inspired others to remain strong. John, the brother of James, lived a very different life. Known as the beloved disciple, John cared for Mary, the mother of Jesus, after the crucifixion. He traveled to Asia Minor, preaching in Ephesus. According to tradition, John was the only apostle not killed for his faith, though he suffered exile on the island of Patmos. It was there that he wrote the book of Revelation, a vision of God's triumph over evil. John died of old age, a rare fate among the apostles, leaving behind the Gospel of John and letters that still shape Christian faith today. Philip carried the gospel into Phrygia, in modern-day Turkey. He boldly preached in areas hostile to the new faith. Tradition says he was arrested and martyred in the city of Hierapolis, crucified upside down after converting the wife of a Roman proconsul. His passion for spreading the message brought the gospel deep into Gentile lands. Bartholomew, also called Nathanael, traveled with Philip and later went on missionary journeys to India and Armenia. Accounts of his death vary, but most traditions say he was brutally martyred, flayed alive and then beheaded for refusing to deny Christ. His willingness to endure such suffering became a symbol of unwavering faith. Matthew, the former tax collector, wrote the gospel that bears his name. He ministered to Jewish communities and spread the gospel as far as Ethiopia. Tradition says he was stabbed to death while celebrating a church service, giving his life as a witness to the message he once recorded in writing. Thomas, often remembered as the one who doubted, took the gospel eastward to India. There, he founded churches that still trace their origins back to him. Known as the Apostle of India, Thomas was eventually martyred near Chennai, pierced through with spears. His story reminds us that even doubt can transform into unshakable faith. James the Less, the son of Alphaeus, became a leader of the church in Jerusalem. He was known for his piety and devotion to prayer. Tradition says he was thrown from the pinnacle of the temple and then beaten to death with clubs for refusing to deny Christ. His steadfastness made him a powerful example to the early church. Thaddeus, sometimes called Jude, preached in Mesopotamia and Persia alongside Simon the Zealot. He helped bring the gospel into difficult regions where hostility was great. Tradition records that he too was martyred, killed with an axe while spreading the faith. His letter in the New Testament encourages believers to stand firm against false teaching. Simon the Zealot traveled widely, with traditions placing him in Persia and Africa. Some accounts say he was sawn in half, others that he was crucified, but all agree that he died as a martyr for his faith. His zeal, once fierce in politics, became a burning fire for Christ's mission. Finally, Matthias, the apostle chosen to replace Judas Iscariot, dedicated his life to preaching. He is believed to have traveled into modern-day Georgia or Ethiopia. Tradition says he was stoned and then beheaded, sealing his faith with his blood. Though he was chosen later, his sacrifice showed that his devotion was no less than the others. Nearly all of the apostles met violent ends, and yet their message endured. From Jerusalem to Rome, from India to Africa, their voices carried the story of Christ to every corner of the known world. Their courage reminds us that faith is not measured in safety or success, but in the willingness to give everything for what one believes is true. The legacy of the 12 apostles is not just in their deaths, but in the church they built, the scriptures they wrote, and the faith they passed down. Their lives testify to the power of transformation, from fishermen and tax collectors to martyrs and saints. And their story continues to inspire believers today, reminding us that while the world may take everything from us, it cannot take away the hope we have in Christ. Comment, like, and subscribe for more Bible stories reimagined.